Hello, friends. Today we're talking about Canadian National Railway, also known ticker symbol CNI. This is a railroad company, and I do own this company. I have a 2.5% position of my portfolio on CNI, and I bought it about $110. And just because I own it or just because I am doing this review, that doesn't mean that it's financial advice. I am not recommending to buy it or not to buy it, to buy it or not to buy it. Do your own due diligence. This is just a exercise, for academic purposes. Um, and I'm just going to be sharing what I liked about this company and why I bought it. And if you disagree with it, or if you have any opinions that maybe could help me, please put them down in the comments. I will really appreciate it. I will also appreciate a like and especially a subscribe. I think it's 97% of you guys do not subscribe, which is okay. I'm starting on this, so I really appreciate that. Try to keep it simple, try to keep it friendly, and I hope that you like it. If you don't, just let me know. I will appreciate that. Canadian National just reported last month on October 24th. The Analysts think that in a year it will be worth about $133, which is an upside of almost 15%, which is what I look for, minimal of a yearly target. I would like to make 15% on all my investments every year, so that would be awesome. But they do think that it's a hold, which it's a little bit concerning for some people. But I think that part of the reason why the railroads are great companies to invest is because they are a monopoly. They own the railroads. They own. They charge people for their transportation, and in Canada, especially, there's only two big companies that service Canada. That's Canadian Pacific and Canadian National. If you would like me to, I will probably be talking about Canadian Pacific after this video comes up. And if you have not listened to my United Pacific video, I will encourage you to do that. I already published it. So they are a dividend payers. They pay $2.30, which is almost 2% right now. Ex-dividend go on December 6th. In the last year, it has been down 6%. Oh, something that I forgot to say is that I think that part of the reason why they are going down is because there's a fear for a recession. And whenever there's a fear for a recession, it is expected for products like just regular products, but also coal and grains to go down because there's not going to be so much production because people are now buying stuff. In the last 5 years, it's gone up about 34%, which is pretty nice. Not as good as Union Pacific, so I will encourage you to go and watch that video. This is the railroads that they have. They go, as you can see, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, and they also go all the way down to New Orleans. So that is a very nice broad transportation, which it makes it appealing because for some companies, Union Pacific is kind of here in the South. So if a company wanted to move something from, let's say, San Francisco coming from China all the way to New York, they will have to go through Union Pacific. Then they will probably have to find another transport method, another railroads to transport it all the way over there. However, as you can see, Canadian National are able to not only transport it from coast to coast, but also all the way down to New Orleans, which is really good when it comes, especially for their petroleum and chemical transportation. They have grain and fertilizer at 16%. Forests, of course, there's a lot of forestry and materials at 13%. Metals and minerals at 12%. Automobile 6%. And intermodal, that means that it just goes from, let's say, shipping to the railroad, the trains, to trucks. It's about 23% of their income, which is very well diversified, which I think it makes it a good company to battle any kind of recession coming. Okay, earnings. It was on October 24th. Earnings per share, they missed just by a little bit, and they missed in revenue for just by a little bit. So it wasn't too much of a problem for them. That's why a lot of the railroads have been missing. They have been going down because of slowdown in the economy. In the last 10 years, these are, by the way, most of these numbers are going to be in Canadian dollars. And then I'll let you know when we're switching to American dollars if you're from America like me. As you can see, the revenue has been going up in the last 10 years. No surprise. A little slower than Union Pacific at 7.7% in the last 10 years and 6.2 in the last 5 years. Earning per share, a little inconsistent up and down, but it been going up about close to 10% in the last 10 years. Profit margins of 30%, almost 30%. That is great. Free cash flow margins of 22.7%. That's what I love about railroads, is that they are money-making machines. And as you can see, the free cash flows have been growing at about 13% in the last 10 years or 5 years. Book value has been also growing at 10%, 7% in the last 10 years, and about 5% in the last 5 years. A return on equity and average in the last 5 years, 23%. That's awesome. Return of assets in the past 5 years is 10%, and return on invested capital, 12%. That is pretty good. A little low for railroads, but that's okay. Another thing that I was looking at Canadian National is because they were going to buy Kansas Railroad, but Canadian Pacific won that. So whenever I make the video for Canadian Pacific, we'll talk a little bit more on that, but that will have added a lot of great things for them. So what they did, since they didn't got that, I don't think I have it here, but they signed a agreement to partner with a Mexican railroad company and Union Pacific, which is going to give them the exposure that they wanted with Canadian Pacific. I mean, with Kansas City, and but without having to buy a new company. So when it comes to dividend per share, has been growing at a nice 10% in the past 10 years or 5 years. If you're a dividend investor, this is an awesome thing to know. Also, the debt has been growing up, and as I discussed in my other video, the reason is because there's a lot of capital expense with these companies. It's the same like with a utility. They have to be, they spend a lot of money on equipment and railroads and fixing them. So maintenance, there is a lot of, so they normally have a lot of debt with that. However, it's a little lower than most. It's about the average, about 5 years. It will take them 5 years if they take the average of the free cash flow to pay all the whole debt. Debt has been growing close to 10 to 11%. Um, Shares, they have been buying a little bit of shares, not as fast as Union Pacific, but at 2.4 in the last 10 years. That's decent. That's okay. Um, Here you can see the last 5-year um, growth numbers. I will be using a 7%. Analysts are saying that it's going to grow at 4%. I'm going to be using 7% in my numbers, I believe. No, at 5% actually. I changed that. Historical multiple valuations. It's whenever we take the revenue per share, the earnings per share, the free cash flow per share, the book value per share, and the dividends average of the last 5 years or the trailing 12 months, and multiply it by the last 10-year, the average, the medium of the different multiples corresponding to the different per share valuations that I just gave you. Anyway, the fair price that I come up with an average of $130 for the average of the last 5 years. And if it's a trailing 12 months, it will be a fair value of 157, which it will make them really nicely undervalued. As you can see, the analysts are looking at 130, which is close to my average. When it comes to the payback time, growing the free cash flow per shares for the next 15 years at 5%, and we add them all together, we'll be receiving about $115, which is close to what the price is right now. If we were to look at the discounted earning valuation, growing the average earnings per share at 5% for the next 5 years, and then discounted multiplying by 20% PE, and then discounted it back to present value, that will be an $82. When it comes to owners' earnings, as you can see, the capital expenses are pretty high, so that eats a lot of that. So we're looking at a trailing 12 months of $94 and an average of $68. When we're looking at all these valuations together of fair value, we're looking at trailing 12 months of about $42 or a average of 115. I like to look at a midpoint between those two, which is close to $130. So if we put a 15% margin of safety, which is what I'm looking to make, I don't put too much margin of safety on this kind of companies, these monopolies, because they're monopolies. They're solid. I don't need too much margin of safety. So I'm looking at $110, which is what I bought my initial investment on. If they were to continue to go down, I'm definitely going to be a buyer, but that doesn't mean that you have to be. So I would love to buy more of this under $100. So if you have any comments, any questions, please let me know down in the comments. If you like this analysis, please press the little button. Let me know that you liked it, or if you disliked it. Also, I would love for you to subscribe. It will help the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Have a nice one.